Okay, so what have you, anything you want to talk about specifically?
Yeah, so I've been playing a new game. It's called Monster. You've heard of Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah, Danny made me buy it so we can play co-op together, and he played once for 30 minutes and then never played it again.
So there's another one that came out recently, but it's similar, but it's also completely different. Like the combat, it's called Monster Hunter Stories 2, and it's turn-based, like Final Fantasy. It's basically Final Fantasy meets Pokemon meets Monster Hunter.
Okay, so you like it?
Yeah, it's really cool. Because I'm a huge fan of like turn-based games. Obviously, if the animations are really good, like some games, the animations are kind of shit, so you're like, but the animations for this one are really good. So I'll talk about that. There's a couple things I would like to talk about. You've heard of Turning Point USA, like Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk and all them.
Yeah. Could you get him off the counter, please? He's not supposed to be on the counter for the 100th time, and you just see him there and walk right by him. She body slammed him off of the counter.
Animal abuse.
And he didn't fall correctly. Okay,
She's mad.
Okay, could you please stop being distracting and...
She's naked, isn't she? I knew it. What a whore.
No, I mean, she is that, but no. So what were we going to... politics of Candace Owens?
Well, not really too much politics. It's just something that happened that I completely disagree. And because I'm more conservative, more Republican. Okay, I believe in God, stuff like that. For me, if I'm going to stick to the truth, I got to stick to the truth. So something that they did, I completely disagree with. I cannot wholeheartedly agree with them.
Yeah, the people you can't. There's nobody you're going to agree with.
Well, something that they did was really bad. In my opinion, I even talked to my mom about it. And my mom, she's real. I wouldn't say. Well, she's pretty strict, but even she was like, no, that's wrong. But yeah, so we'll talk more about that. But and then I want, like I said, to talk about Monster Hunter Stories 2, and then of course tomorrow the reveal for the next Battlefield. They're going to reveal what was redacted, the new game mode.
Okay, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow at 10 a.m. our time, because it's 22nd. Remember, July 22nd. I am a little worried, just not because like it's going to be bad, but just because I'm afraid that they're not going to show destruction. And if they don't show destruction, you already know what's going to happen. You already know what the reaction is going to be. Everyone's going to be like, why aren't they showing destruction? Is it bad? Is it not the same? I mean, I get it. At the same time, I get it because they didn't show. I mean, we didn't really get too much of gameplay, that much gameplay the previous time. It was just like a kind of more of like a teaser, I guess, a little bit. But
I wouldn't say it's a teaser because they showed a lot. Like all of that footage was gameplay footage, but they didn't show like one person sitting down and going through a match.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, maybe not a teaser, but you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just like I said, because
they didn't show a building coming down and being like
they didn't show Levolution. They didn't show the next Levolution. They haven't really even talked about destruction. You notice that? They've just been like, oh hey, yeah, this is the next Battlefield. Yeah, we're gonna have destruction in it, but they kind of push that to the side, and me myself am just a little worried because I wonder if they're going, if it's not going to be as good as the previous ones, and they're just going more for gameplay. I don't know, man. I don't know, because
I don't know why they would lessen it.
I know, but think about it. Like all the other Battlefields, they like the focal point was gameplay, but also destruction. Just about every other Battlefield. This one, they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have dynamic storms. And we're going back to modern shooter, and we're talking about this and that. It's like, okay, well, what about the destruction? People play your fan base is mainly because your game is different because of destruction, and you're not going to talk about that really at all. We have next month? We'll have 2 months before the game releases, and they haven't really mentioned. Yeah, they said, oh, we're going to have next generation Levolution, but we're not going to really talk about it. I'm like, no.
Or maybe they're saving it for like a certain event, because how like they have to sparse out the information. That's what 2K does. NBA 2K 22. I think that's the next one I'm going to get. I'm going to buy it used because I don't. Their company drives me insane. But the game comes out in September, beginning of September, and they just released the first information. They just released the cover like a week ago, and then they just released like bullet point information about the game, and I'm just like, but they do it every year. They do it. It's like a month and a half, whatever before, and then that's it. And they sell millions. They're one of the best-selling games each and every year. So,
and then another reason, because I did hear that because there was going to be an alpha version in July, and I heard that they're pushing that to September. And I'm like, why? Why are you pushing that to September? Is that not ready? So it makes me think, I'm like,
an alpha or beta?
No, an alpha. The beta is going to be like, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be a few weeks. Probably the beta is probably going to be in the beginning of October. That's usually because they usually do it like a few weeks before the release, and then they have the 10 hours free that you can play before the game releases for like EA Play and EA. You know how they do that and shit.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm a little. And another thing too is like I understand like they're I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're adding so many new things. They added specialists. They're changing how they. I mean, there's still classes, but you can change up this and that. And they have the original game modes, but then they have these two big new game modes that they really haven't talked about. And so I understand that, but at the same time, it's I don't know, because EA Play is tomorrow, and there's I don't know any other big event that's going to happen in the near future. I don't know. So I'm not skeptical, but
I know they released a lot of information about like FIFA and the next gen. Like this is like the first true next gen FIFA game, and then Madden as well. They're adding, which I don't understand. This is I want to know what you think about this. Madden in the franchise mode, you can scout upcoming players out of college, right? So everybody and the scouting mode, I guess, hasn't changed in years. But now they're adding this new scouting mode, but it's going to be released after the game comes out, like a month and a half after.
That's weird.
I don't understand. So it's the first time I've ever seen this where it's not a game mode. It's
part of the game.
It's a piece of the game that it's just not ready yet. So I don't understand.
That's weird.
Yeah. But I guess it's going to be this whole completely different revamped scouting mode to where it's really, really in depth. So if it's good, people, I'm guessing, aren't going to care about waiting an extra month or something like that. But it's interesting that these games now are coming out and then they're evolving. They're slowly, I don't know, evolving as they come out. And especially the yearly releases, like Madden, financially, I understand coming out with now a $70.
Yeah, of course.
I understand that from a financial point of view, but why don't you just, like, in my head, I'm wondering if it's ever going to be just Madden, and then every year you're going to get like a seasonal update.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what the natural progression, I think, would happen. Or you get some kind, like you say you pay $30 and then you get a revamped version of the game. But I don't know if that would kind of separate your player base, because even in 2K, they're having, you can't play cross-platform. So PlayStation can't play with Xbox.
Yeah.
And this is one of the biggest games out. You can't, next gen and current gen can't play together. So on my Xbox, if you have NBA 2K22 on your One X, I can't play with you on my Series X. So the games are completely different. So you're splitting up your player base into like 4 different groups, but maybe their player base is so big it won't matter.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's interesting to where, I don't know, games are going. And then with Ubisoft, and they're going free to play. They released information about like Tom Clancy's free to play first person shooter thing.
XDefiant. Dude, no one wants that game. I went on IGN on the YouTube video when they released it, and then GameSpot.
Is it some kind of class-based shooter?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And dude, they're mixing like the devs. They came out. They said they're mixing like first person shooter with like punk, and I'm like, dude, if you look like GameSpot, and it looks shitty. I'm not kidding. It looks, the graphics, I saw like they show like some of it looks good, and then they showed like fire, like there's like a small explosion, like a Molotov cocktail, and then it fell to the ground, and it looked as bad as the fire in Valhalla when you throw it on the buildings and burn them. It looked that bad. I was like, dude, the ratio of likes to dislikes on IGN and GameSpot are horrible. There's more dislikes, and I'm like, like, what are you guys doing? We already have something like that. We already have The Division. Yeah, it's not a first-person shooter, but that doesn't fucking matter.
That's not even a Division. That's like a class-based, like, is it like Overwatch? Like
yeah, kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
what they're doing,
companies that already do that way better.
Well, what they're doing now, the idea is kind of interesting. But real quick, let's start this so we're not, because we'll keep going.
This is fine. Well, everybody, welcome to the next episode of Video Games and Nonsense Podcast. I'm Chase Carter. That's
Raymond Woods.
Which is where we talk about video games and nonsense. So Ray, we're just talking about XDefiant.
XDefiant. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But one thing I do kind of like. So what they're doing is they take groups or like characters from other games. So they have oh my god, what the hell is it called? Now I completely spacing it. They're the guys in the Division with the flamethrowers. Like their particular group.
Not wasters, but
yeah. See,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
They have them, and then they have like characters from like Splinter Cell. And then characters from
they
like
have a lot of franchises they can pull.
Then like characters from like Ghost Recon. So they're combining them in a first-person shooter. So I understand that. I get like that's kind of cool, but then
that's like Breaking Point is like that's what Tom Clancy's like Breakpoint.
Like they're not, and no, like everyone was like that game's not gonna last. Like we already have too many games like that.
I think you'd have to do something unique. And that's why I always thought that the Splinter Cell, the Spies versus Mercs.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a game like that.
Yeah. Make another fucking Splinter Cell game. Holy fucking shit. Like everyone loves the Splinter Cell. Everyone. If you're a Tom Clancy fan, you don't necessarily think of Rainbow Six right away. You don't think of The Division. You think of Splinter Cell. Fucking Splinter Cell. And they haven't done a game like that in a long time. Make another one. We want to get along with the fucking free to play. Like what?
And even if you make a free to play, like you can make a free to play Splinter Cell game. Make Spies versus Mercs, and then make it free to play, and have it seasonal. Have all your little upgraded gadgets. Earn reputation in each group.
But this fantastical first person, like what? No.
It's like, do they have magic? I read a little article about it, but they didn't really go into the gameplay.
It's gadgets, but they look magical, basically. Like it's like I was like, I saw this, I was like, what the hell? And like I don't like to look at when I first watch a game, I don't like to watch other people react to it, because if it's a negative or a positive. I mean, I'm
your opinion about it.
Yeah, I'm fairly good at not doing that, but still sometimes, especially if I like the YouTuber, and I'm like, yeah, okay. But so I like to just kind of watch it alone, and that's basically what I did. I was like, what is this?
They have gameplay of it?
Yeah, they have gameplay of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. I just read the article.
After this, you can just watch the gameplay. But yeah, it's like like I said, we already have too many of those. Like like I said, we haven't had Splinter Cell in how many years, and they don't do that? What? But
doesn't make any sense. Well, and it's the same reason they kind of, with Assassin's Creed, they got away from the stealth. It's not as stealthy as it used to be, and like the whole mission used to be like one or two ways to really do a stealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Attack on, say, a priest is inside a church, and you can get inside the confessional. You can sneak in through the rafters, drop down, get in the confessional. He walks in. Yeah. You can kill him in that, but there are no cool ways to do that anymore. So that's one of the reasons I like Hitman, because Hitman is the only stealth game here. Yeah. And you can play that all, balls out and go in and shoot a whole bunch of people. You can do that. But like the way to play that is to have a playground full of tools, and then the player uses those tools and manipulates the environment and to complete the mission. And that's what like Splinter Cell is always good at.
And I do have to mention because I'm pretty sure you mailed off the Hitman game.
Did you get anything else in the? Did you get anything in the mail?
No, I haven't gotten anything in the mail.
Interesting.
I should have told you not to do that because so last month I had paid for because my ID is expiring, my driver's license is expiring in August on my birthday, and I just just ahead of time I paid it. It was like $40. I still haven't gotten in the mail, so it's lost.
Okay. So you don't get any mail where you are?
No, I do, but it's just
sporadic.
It's a little spotty. Sometimes
okay.
I should have, and I haven't gotten anything yet. I mean, I haven't checked mail today, but I'll check it whenever I leave for work. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck. I need to go to the post office and what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You can get a PO box.
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to fucking do that because these morons.
Maybe someone in the neighborhood stealing stuff. I don't know, but like if it's some mail and not others, like do you ever get important stuff in the mail that you need? That's
not necessarily. I mean, most of my bills are automatic payments.
Yeah, online and stuff like that. That's interesting. Okay.
I should have mentioned that, and I apologize.
It's fine. It's like a $10. I paid like $15 for it. It's fine.
I don't even know how you locate shit like that.
It gets there. Well, I have no
idea.
I'm
guessing they have probably.
There's no way to locate it, but it's insured. So like it's up in it's insured up to $50. So if it doesn't come, like if I can say, oh yeah, it was $40, and then I make money off of the deal, so it's fine.
Yeah, but hopefully I got it today. Because sometimes it does take a while, especially since you live like 3 hours away. But you mailed it off a while ago, huh? Like at least what? Like a week ago?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, but I think it was at the end of the day, so that wasn't. And I did it through the military's post office, so they're really slow with their shit.
Okay.
So, it could be that as well. Because I just sent off a controller. Someone bought my controller, my Space Jam controller. Oh, and the Space Jam 2 movie, not terrible. Not terrible. I mean, LeBron James' acting is just on par with Michael Jordan's acting.
Yeah, I was going to say just as...
god awful. But it's really cool seeing, because you don't hear about the Looney Tunes anymore. They're not on Netflix. They're not on like the WB network or whatever. And it was all the voices are done by people. I don't know if it's like the original people, but they do a really good job. And like it's really cool seeing like Daffy Duck and just like everybody. It was really cool. I was like, oh, this still works. Why isn't this a thing anymore? Like I don't understand why is this? It's a 2-hour movie. It's a 2-hour kids movie. You
heard why they took out Pepe Le Pew, right?
Oh yeah, because of the whole sexual assault. Like
he doesn't consent.
Yeah, I can see how that could be problematic in today's society. People are like, "What?"
No.
And the actor that
it's one girl. He loves her. It's one girl.
I know.
It's not he's like, going after all these girls.
But doesn't she keep saying no to him?
Well, yeah.
And that's what makes it funny. That's what makes it funny.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny. She's like, she tries to pull away.
Yeah, but in today's society where
everyone is
I understand how people can be. That is not a trigger, but like a reminder of. But isn't kind of like who is the Kermit the Frog and
Miss Piggy?
Miss Piggy, yeah, Miss Piggy. Like Miss Piggy's always trying to go after Kermit, and it's funny because like he's this slim little guy, and then she's like this big old pig, and she just like goes over and attacks him, and that's what makes it funny. Because he doesn't really have a choice in the matter, and it's like role reversal. And so I think they stopped doing that with Miss Piggy, and then they stopped doing Pepe Le Pew because it sends the wrong message. And I'm like, I don't know if it should be for little kids, because that's the other thing. Like there should be things that aren't for little kids, but then.
But we didn't have any problems with that back then, did we? No, we didn't.
But I'm saying we didn't have issues with it, but people were acting like that, and then it was okay in society to act like that. it was okay
what?
for.
When was it okay to kiss a woman without their consent? What are you talking about?
No, people didn't get in trouble for it or called out for it until just recently, I would say.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Did you hear about any of this stuff going on before, 5 or 10 years ago?
What do you mean?
I didn't.
Are you talking about like Hollywood and shit?
Well, just in an office setting or whatever. Any kind of remarks or.
Yeah, of course there's going to be idiots making remarks. Of course.
But I'm saying I think at least it was perceived to be more acceptable guys just like, oh yeah, honey, and then smacking a waitress or whatever. Like that's the kind of image.
I've
never seen it. I've never seen.
I've never thought that. I've never ever thought that was okay. That's always been wrong.
Yeah, it's always been wrong.
Always.
But
and I'm 30 years old, so that's.
See how she thinks like this is a
give her a kiss. That's okay. Just give her a kiss. That's okay.
Go to my second job because some of us work around here.
Oh, sure. Gotcha.
I still pay half the rent and half everything. So eat me.
Hell yeah, brother.
How about you do the same? She closes the door. That's funny. Yeah. I'm not too sure. I don't know. I understand people.
And obviously, if your children are watching something like that, like when I was younger, okay, there was like that Die Hard game. Like it was a third person Die Hard game where you're killing people. My mother, because I was a young kid, I was playing it. My mom said, "Hey, I want you to understand that killing people is not okay. Tell children, hey, going after a woman and forcing yourself on her, that's not okay." Holy fucking shit!
Well,
now
it's
you have to cancel it. No, you don't. You don't have to cancel it. Just make sure your children know it's a cartoon. It's not like he's trying to rape her. He's trying to kiss her. It's kind of a joke. It's not real, okay? Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying. Like if some people are offended by it, don't watch it. Like
but it's the movie's job to make the movie.
No, it's not.
Well, you don't even know what I'm going to say.
It's not the movie's job to.
No.
Not be offensive.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's the movie's job to try to get as many people to watch and pay for that movie as possible. So if something is in it that upsets a certain minority or a certain group, and all you have to do is take out Pepe Le Pew, like I think you're going to take him out or change how he's acting, just in general, or maybe have the girl stand up and beat the shit out of him. But then even then he's going to like it more. He can be. It'll be like a kink thing, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, fine." I kind of like it.
That would. Well, see, but the whole thing is also you have the thing: go woke, go broke.
Well, yeah, but I think I don't think that's necessarily true. I think
that happens a lot.
Well, that's people on the other. There's people who don't want to hear about politics and all this other stuff. But that's not politics. I wouldn't say. I would say that's just a cartoon character. A cartoon character that. Forces himself on this woman, on this female skunk or whatever. And people didn't want to see that. It caused an issue, or they brought it up in HR or whatever, or the Chinese government that funded this whole movie probably said, "Hey, we don't like that. It's not going to fly over here." So I mean, I'm not too sure, but that's their property. And they have the creative right to do whatever they want for whatever reason. And if they think they're going to lose money or it's going to be a headline, the headline should be whether the movie is good or it sucks, not if Pepe Le Pew is in the movie trying to steal kisses from a woman who doesn't want to be kissed. That's not okay to kiss in my head. But then also, as Wile E. Coyote, it's not okay to kill people, and he wants to kill and eat the Roadrunner. So...
That's where I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about.
We understand it's we understand it's a movie, but if they want to be more, it's always weird. In America, we're more sensitive to sex than we are violence. You'll watch a movie like John Wick where hundreds of people die, and it's like, oh, cool.
That was cool.
But then you don't like sex in movies. You said.
Yeah. It's like if it's just random. So I watched Spanglish last night. Again, that's a great movie. You've seen it, right, with Adam Sandler?
Yeah, and Salma Hayek?
No, that's not.
Who is-
It's a different actress.
Oh no,
I can't remember her
it's
name.
not Selma Hayek. Sorry, yeah.
But I can't remember her name. She was in Jurassic Park 3. She's a blonde woman.
I just saw Selma Hayek in another movie. That's why I'm thinking about it.
Tia something. I can't remember. Hold on. I got to get her name because she's a great actress.
I don't think it's that important, but okay.
Cast. Hold on. Tia Leone.
Okay, I remember her. I liked her. I remember her.
Yeah.
Something about her feet hitting the ground.
No. That's Adam Sandler's wife in the movie, and then Paz. Why is it not loading? Hello? Am I? Oh my God.
The girl, the maid or whatever. I really liked her. I had a huge crush on her. Are you okay? Oh yeah, your $2,000 phone.
No, it's
good job.
It's the internet.
Like you made the phone.
It's my Wi-Fi. It's my Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Spanglish cast. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi right now. But
I don't know either.
Okay. It was
but
just
but that's the movie
loaded.
Spanglish, right? Where she's sitting in the chair and they're enjoying each other's company, and then or on the bed.
It's on Netflix. You can watch it again until the 31st, so 10 days. But anyways, because there's a sex scene in it, but it's not like it's funny. It's really funny. Like because in the movie Adam Sandler, he's a chef and he gets a great review in the paper, and then Tia Leone, his wife, she comes in, she's all excited, and then they're going at it. They don't show anything obviously, but she's like going at it, and like she has an orgasm, but it's really funny how she does it. Like she makes real funny faces and stuff like that, and then Adam Sandler, he's just sitting there like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And then she's like slapping his chest, and he's like, okay. Well, her face is, man, she's like, like it's real fucking funny. And then like she finishes and he's watching her, and she starts crying. He's like, no, be happy, cheer up, Dad, cheer up. Like it's like that part's funny, but when it's like, for instance, the movie Homefront with give me a second, Jason Statham and Winona Ryder and James Franco.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the beginning of the movie is Jason Statham and his daughter. His wife dies, her mom dies. They so they move into more countryside, but he's like he was in the beginning of the movie, he was undercover DEA agent, I think it was DEA, and he goes there, and then he starts having problems with James Franco. He's like a drug dealer, and then all of a sudden it's PG-13, right? All of a sudden when James Franco, when he finally meets up with Winona Ryder, because they know each other, it's been a minute since they've seen each other, there's just a random sex scene. Like they don't show anything, and it's not very long, but it's just, what is the point of that? That's not a movie like that. That's not a movie about sex. It's not a movie about screwing. I don't get it. It's just like, hello. It's a movie about a man and his daughter. There's no. It's like they put that in there just because.
It doesn't advance the plot.
Yeah, it's like like who is the writers and the producers like, we should add like a random sex scene in this part right here, like what they made.
Well, that's exactly what they do. Like the writers and all that stuff will have their idea of the story, and then producers will throw things in just so they can add their own touch. We're like, she's hot. People would want to see her in a sex scene. Throw it in.
And like I said, you don't even see anything. It's like real quick, and I'm like,
you said James Franco and some other
Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay.
You don't know who Winona Ryder is?
I know who Winona Ryder is. I didn't know if she was in the sex scene. I just thought that she was in the movie.
I just said.
I've seen the movie once, but I don't really remember it.
It's a good movie. It's actually got a lot of really good fight scenes in it. Like you're like, oh, Jesus Christ! Like
I remember James Franco was a good bad guy.
Yeah, he did a good job. But there's a scene where Jason Statham, he picks up this fucking car battery and swings it and hits a dude in the face. I was like, oh God in heaven, that would kill you.
I know how
that
heavy
would kill
car
you.
batteries.
Yeah, they're like 50 to 70 pounds. That would kill you. Like it would just crush your skull and you'd be dead. Like, but anyways, yeah, that's. But so real quick, I'll talk about Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Yeah, you wanted to talk about that.
So yeah, it's anime. So the storyline is real. Anime is like over the top. but it's really cool. It's basically open world, and you get these the monsters. You get them with like eggs. You go in like these monster dens. You pick up eggs and stuff like that, and then they hatch. And they have like this. You have these genes, where like then the genes like that depends on like what their abilities are and stuff like that. And then the combat is way more intricate than I thought. It's definitely different than most turn-based games. So you have base attacks and you have technical. You will all start a power, technical, and then speed. Power beats out technical. Technical beats out speed, and speed beats out power. So say like if I'm going up against a monster and it does a technical attack, if I do a power attack and say like the monster is attacking me and I attack the monster, we'll go head to head. And depending on say like if the monster is doing a technical attack and I was doing a technical attack, there would be a draw and we would both cause damage to each other. However, if the monster is doing a technical attack and then I'm doing a power attack, I would beat the monster out and be able to attack and I wouldn't take any damage. So you have that, and then there's like double attacks where you can do with your monsters, and then there's you get different you get all the weapons from Monster Hunter, not every single weapon, but then you can customize your armor and stuff like that. You can get different armor, and then the same monsters in the game, and then also you can knock down your monsters. You can knock down the monsters, and you could break off pieces like their tail and their head or the wings or legs, whatever, depending on how big the monster is. And you could do that in Monster Hunter, the Monster Hunter world. All of the whole. You would chase after the monsters, hit them enough times, and they would fall over. You could cause more damage and break off. And then when you break off those certain pieces, then you can make weapons and armor from those pieces. Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm trying to play this. I'm trying to get the video going, and it's not fucking playing or working. But
yeah, no, it's really weird. We've had some technical issues. And then there's so you can do like double attacks. So if your monster that you have is attacking one monster and it's say like it's doing a speed attack, and then you attack the same monster and you do a speed attack, you'll do a double attack, which causes you both like there's an animation. We both go and attack, and then causes more damage. And then what you can also do is you can you have this kinship meter, and when that and that kinship builds up. When you land attacks and if you get a double attack, then that builds a kinship. And when the kinship meter fills up, you can jump on your monster and you're riding it, and then you could do a special attack. And it's like it has like a cool, real cool animation, stuff like that. And like I said, the storyline, it's okay. I mean, if you're an anime fan and a Monster Hunter fan, then you'll like the story. But I just like it because, like I said, I like turn-based and the animations are really cool. And then the weapons, obviously, you get the weapons and stuff like that. Me, personally, I think it's better than Monster Hunter. Just because for me, Monster Hunter, it's really repetitive. And it's a game you've got to play with your friends. Like not like one or two players. No. You need, for me, in my opinion, you want a full 4-player, co-op experience. Because the game does get very repetitive. There is a storyline, but literally what you do, you go out, find a monster, chase it down, attack it, kill it, break its parts, get its parts, go back to base, make armor, make weapons, go back out, rinse and fucking repeat. Literally, that's it. And I'm like...
Well, people do like that gameplay loop. Like people who...
Well, of course, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a lot more fun with friends. Like if you play the game by yourself, you're going to get bored quickly. And also, it's a lot harder if you do it alone because the game is definitely a lot harder. But this Monster Hunter Stories 2, I definitely like it because, the different monsters that you get, the eggs, and you can get different rarities of the eggs, and you hatch them and stuff like that. So me personally, just like I said, I love the turn-based, and it's literally Final Fantasy meets Pokemon meets Monster Hunter. So it's like that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Whoever did that.
I wonder why more games don't do that. Combine 3 or 4
I know.
different.
It's just like that game Genshin Impact. I mentioned it. It's basically Zelda in a more anime type style where you get different characters, but the whole world graphics. The combat not so much. The combat it does have differences. The combat field does have different, but the whole the world and how you traverse, you can climb up any wall, any surface. but you have a stamina meter that drains, just like in Zelda Breath of the Wild. But that's fine. Everyone loves that game, and Genshin Impact is free to play. Like, it's so cool. But
I was trying to get the gameplay of it here,
that's okay.
But for some reason, every time the video plays, it plays for 2 seconds and then pauses. Plays for 2 seconds and then pauses.
It's just buffering.
But no, it's the buffering I see. Even in completely buffered. You know the little gray area?
Yeah. That's weird.
It's completely buffered.
Maybe that's kind of the same thing with my fucking internet for some fucking reason.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
think
now it fucking works.
I don't know if our internets are connected.
Yeah, this is her. That's the maid in Spanglish.
Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, she's real pretty. Very, very pretty. I like her daughter in the
actress?
movie. Yeah, her daughter. Yeah. I really like that movie. I really, really enjoy that movie because it's
Adam Sandler movies are almost always good. They're usually never bad. They're always good.
Yeah, but I really like the movie, like I said too, because it's a more serious movie. I mean, there's funny parts obviously, but it's more serious, and I really like it because they do a really good job of combining like the Mexican and Hispanic culture with white America,
Mm-hmm.
American white people. They really do a good job of that. Because, and especially with a movie like that, I think we could use a lot more of that, not division, who gives a fuck? Who cares if we're white? Whatever.
One of my favorite movies is Fools Rush In.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was with Matthew Perry and Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
And seeing that as a young kid, I was like, I want a Mexican girlfriend immediately.
Now you have a Puerto Rican.
Yeah. So
but
like,
she's crazy.
I was yeah. Oh, she's crazy in a good way.
Yeah.
I have to hide all the knives, but that's the point. But no, just growing up, just for some reason, always because I don't know if but I'm always attracted to some, like the people who are opposite of me or from a different, it just always seemed more, I don't know, because growing up around white people. And
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if you get tired of the people you're around.
Well, and it's refreshing. It's refreshing to
other
see,
cultures, and then it's fun seeing other people's points of view from how they grew up, their culture. It's like, no, we don't do that. We do this. And I'm like, oh, that's
really interesting. Yeah.
Because it's different. Yeah. But then there's some people who like the same familiarity like that. And that's fine. But I was always attracted to Mexican girls. It's just Hispanic. But the one broke my heart. And what's funny is she didn't date me because I was white. She didn't seriously date me. She's like, I can't bring you home to my father. I was like, what?
Well, he's a little racist.
Like,
maybe prejudice?
Like, yeah. Well, yeah. All races are. All of them. There's versions of in all races.
No, you know what's, and it's usually the older people who are like old school, like who, when Hispanic culture, if they like, for instance, when I was dating Michelle in high school, her grandmother didn't speak a word of English. She didn't like me. She didn't like me at all because I was white. I wasn't Mexican. And you know what? And it's
did
funny
not
too.
Mix back then. They did
not.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I guess you can say that's okay because it's just a cultural thing. But if white people do it, okay, of course it's racist. Of course it is.
Well, it is interesting. There was one, I forget. I think it's a porn star. She didn't want to. She ended up killing herself. She ended up getting like.
Oh Jesus!
It was bad. Yeah, I'm gonna get the sad shit out of the way first. But because she can do scenes with whoever she wanted, so she picked the parameters or whatever. She didn't want to sleep. She wasn't attracted to black guys, and then she didn't want to have a sex scene with any male actors who had been in gay porn. Oh.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this either Corey or Chase?
Who's calling?
Sunrise Ranch, the meat delivery.
Oh, meat delivery? Yeah. Are you outside right now?
Yeah.
No. I'll be right there.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you. I don't like people who call you and ask, is this that person? Hi, this is whoever, state your name and your business. And then say, is this?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell a complete stranger who I am. Like, who are you? I don't know. I'm going to go get this package real quick. Be right back.
You got 5 seconds. Hello?
Hello? I hear you.
You can hear me, though?
Yeah, I can hear you in
Yeah,
my
I can
ear.
hear you.
It's fine. He was like, what's the best way to reach you? Phone or one of these little buttons? Because we have little call buttons. I was like, call us because none of the buttons work except for ours that sometimes works. And he goes, ha ha, comedian. Ha ha. And then just like walks away. And I'm like, okay. That wasn't fun. I wasn't
trying to be funny, but I get
that's how it works. That's how it works. I don't know.
That's how it works. I don't know why you're.
I'm going to invite him to my stand-up shows and just to get automatic laughs.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this guy is real funny.
Like, he laughs saying hello. He's just hello. He's like, But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So the porn star. She said no to black guys because she wasn't attracted to them, and then no to anyone who'd been in gay porn. And then she got all these death threats and hate. You homophobe, you racist, all this stuff. And then she's a white girl, and then she ended up killing herself, I guess. And I was like,
yeah, so actually speaking
but she
of
didn't say
porn
anything
stars,
bad about those. Like she didn't say anything bad. Like
that's just how it is. That's how it is now.
These are my preferences.
But the LGBTQ, they're probably, I guarantee you, there's some of them in there. But they tell us, love who you love. Okay, I want to be straight, and I want to love whoever it is, white woman, black woman, Mexican woman, but they need to be born a woman and be a woman now. Are you? That's racist. That's homophobic. Like, so you're not tolerant at all, are you?
No,
I mean, yeah, we are, but we're not. Yeah, we are. Well, we're not.
They're tolerant if you agree with what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because real quick, because before my pastor moved to Colorado, he made a really good point. He was talking about the LGBTQ, and he's not against it. He has gay friends, and he actually got emotional. I think I mentioned, because he doesn't want any hate towards gay people, obviously, but he said how tolerant the LGBTQ community he's like how they claim to be. He said, yet would they be okay with a gay person wanting to be straight and then believing in God and leaving the LGBT community? Would they be perfectly fine with that? Like, yeah, of course, no problem. That's your life. No, they wouldn't. They'd be chastised. They'd be crucified. And it's like, yeah.
I think that's like any group. If you're like hardcore a group and then you realize like a cult or something like that, the cult loves you if you love the cult. And then if you, it's like Scientology, they love you until you're like, wait a minute, I have to keep paying for different levels of, enlightenment and all this other stuff. And it's like, what? No, this is a big scam. This is a big scam. So,
but so like I said, speaking of porn stars, so Turning Point USA, they had a student summit over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
And a woman had she'd gone online, bought a VIP pass, and I think her name was like Brandy Love. She was a porn star. They kicked her out because she's a porn star. And then I sometimes watch Matt Walsh, and then also Candace Owens was talking to Charlie Kirk, and they were saying they were both saying, yeah, that's a good thing you kicked her out, blah blah blah, because porn stars can't be conservative. And I'm just like,
well, no, there's hypocrisy on every single side, Ray. Like,
but no, I understand that. I haven't seen.
There's way more on the left. There's way more on the left.
But I haven't seen that level. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, and like I said, I told my mother about this. And she's like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. And here's the thing. Because God tells us to come to him as we are. It doesn't matter about our past. It doesn't matter about whatever. It doesn't matter if we sin. It doesn't matter if we're a murderer. He says, come to me as you are. Okay? And yet, and like, I can understand if she was, like, promoting porn and like trying to recruit people. Like, no, that's not what we're here for. You're like, no, you can't do that here. I understand that, okay? But apparently she wasn't. She wasn't doing any of that. She wanted to go and listen to conservative talk. Now, here's the thing. Now, I understand, as Christians, yes, I watch porn. Okay. However, I understand, I understand that porn is mostly degrading for women. It's not the best profession.
They do get paid more than the male porn stars do.
Well, yeah,
So it's not too. It's not. The camera's always on them. It's not really.
That's what I'm talking about. But you understand what I'm saying. It's like, especially for married couples, it makes sex just a thing, and it's not a connection. Stuff like that. So I understand that part. I get that. I understand that. However, I don't understand, because here's the thing. Because Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk, they accept gay people. Doesn't matter if they're gay or not. So gay people can be conservatives, but not porn stars. They would allow a gay person to go to the student summit. That's perfectly fine, but not a porn star. I'm like, are you like, you're completely missing the point. You're completely missing the point. That's almost like them shunning her away is the equivalent of God shunning someone away because they're a sinner.
Well, I wouldn't compare them to God. I wouldn't.
No. But because they believe in God and they're about godly morals, right?
Well, yeah, but there's tons of people who say that, and then they're child molesters. So like, that's not you're holding these people up to too high of a standard, right? Like
because they're claiming to be about God, and they're claiming, oh, we're about God, we're about, that's what the left does. The left shuns people out because they don't agree with them we don't agree with them 100%. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to have any kind of debate because of what we believe. That's what the left does. So if you're going to claim to be...
And the left and right pretty much are like the like mirror images of each other.
But you understand what I'm saying. So if they're people of God and they believe in godly morals, but then they go and shun someone out because of their profession, but it's okay for gay people. I'm like, what are you doing? That's 100% hypocrisy.
No, it shouldn't matter what you. And then if she's making a living, doing porn, I would say that's more of a conservative. Like, she's creating a business. She's making a business. She's in business for herself. She's making business. She's not hurting anybody. She's creating entertainment. Many people would that do and love to pay for. So I would, in my head, more business minded. She's paying more in taxes doing this. I would say, I don't know her, viewpoints, but just that in general is more of a conservative belief.
And then it's just,
as far as the business part goes.
Candace Owens, like, you might have heard of Tommy Lauren, or Lauren, whatever.
No, maybe sounds familiar.
She's blonde, conservative, but she's really cute, like really like up there. She's like a 12, 11, or 12, up there.
I'm sure people love to listen to her talk.
Well, no, she's more conservative. She has she's younger, but she has a lot of good viewpoints. And she endorsed Caitlyn Jenner because she's a Republican and whatnot, right? Mm-hmm. And then Candace Owens talking, oh, we can't have Tommy Lauren because now she's endorsing transgenderism. I'm like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You can not, like, I guarantee you.
I told you a while ago, I don't like there's a few, she was on Joe Rogan's podcast for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And there were some of her viewpoints, like, okay, I can see how you get there. But then there were some that were just completely dismissive.
Well, see,
she sounded so stupid when she spoke. And then, like, there are good points to where she makes about Democrats keeping, like, black single mothers. She does make good points, and that was, there's some law that was passed in the 50s and 60s. Like, oh, I didn't know that. So why don't you just you're enticing black mothers to be single and not raise because if they don't get that money if the father's at home.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword because you want to help single mothers out.
Yeah.
But then but she doesn't bring that up. She brings it up as if the Democrats did that on purpose to do it, instead of, he's like, hey, there are single mothers out there. We're going to give them, extra money or whatever, some kind of, I don't know, not allowance, but some kind of benefit. But then the negative reaction to that is that's going to encourage single mothers of any race to not be married. But she doesn't bring it up. She brings it up as the Democrats did this to that. And then she was mentioning something else about climate change. And Joe Rogan brought up.
She had no idea. She's like, yeah, I don't really believe. But what's weird is
I don't believe that at all because it's a .com and not a .org. And I'm like, So you
Yeah,
just dismiss all of this stuff without even reading it. And she's like,
and I know. Yeah,
her
I know
quote was,
exactly what you're talking.
I don't. She's like, Joe Rogan Joe Rogan wants nothing to do with her anymore. And then I think it like some other Dave Rubin. I think Joe Rogan doesn't talk to him anymore because him and her are like linked. And David Rubin said, "Oh, I think she could be president one day." And Joe Rogan was like, "You've had conversations with her?" And David Rubin goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay." He was like, and like Joe Rogan didn't say anything mean about her, but like in the interview with her, she's like, "I don't believe that like at all."
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
And then Joe Rogan goes, "Like at all?" And it's like you just dismiss something before even looking into it or doing any research.
And you know what's funny too? It's funny too
stupid.
because Steven Crowder, he took he was talking about the climate change, but then he brought up other articles about NASA saying that we have even more ice caps that have formed. So you know how they're like, oh, the ice caps are melting, but then he brought up another, like we've had, like it was, I saw it a couple of years ago, but he's like, it was like 1 billion tons of ice caps have formed. And I'm like, why couldn't she just look that up? Why couldn't she just do her research? She just all of a sudden, because
she has these viewpoints because it makes her popular in her when she is a black woman talking about how black people just need to pick themselves up by the bootstraps. That is going to, or saying that there is absolutely, when she admit like race, like what is it? The United States is not a racist country. There's racists in it.
Yeah.
And then that is like, oh, a black person is finally saying this. This is what we need to promote her and whatever. And she looks good. She's very attractive.
Yeah.
So there's going to be, and she seems like overall nice person, but then in these viewpoints, I think she has to be not polarizing, but to be popular, to be in the
but I do believe I do believe because she was once a Democrat, so I know she does believe them. Those are her beliefs. But it's just weird that she's very well prepared in just almost everything. Because I've seen a lot of her videos, and I agree with most of what her and Charlie Kirk and Matt Walsh. I agree with mostly everything that they say. And
she's very prepared on a few instances. With like nobody is going to to well informed and well prepared.
Well, yeah, of course, but it's just for her to. What I didn't like, she completely dismissed it, and it's like, no. As a conservative, you never want to just dismiss. What she should have said, and be like, okay. Well, yeah, even then, conservative, liberal. But you look at that and you say, oh, okay, that's interesting. Be like, I'm not very well versed in this. Be like, no, I'll have to do my own research. Yeah. But just to say, no, I don't believe. What? Like everyone looked at that and was like Candace Owens, like, because before that, she was, like I said, she was very well prepared. Everyone loved her, and then that, and people were like, who is she? Like she looks like a liberal who can't rebut something that like Michael Knowles said, and it was cool because Michael Knowles he kind of brought it up, like what happened with them kicking her out, because apparently the extremists were calling her names and all this, and I'm like, oh my god. But then he said there was two wrongs. He said he basically he's like he agreed. He's like they shouldn't have kicked her out. He's like I can understand if she was trying to promote pornography to students, like like young women, whatever. He goes, but she wasn't doing anything. She was just sitting there, just listening to conservative views. And so that's why I like Michael Knowles, is because he's more he's conservative, but he was I do like that he wasn't 100% agree with. And it's just disappointing. Yeah, it's really disappointing to see that with them.
And that's another thing is when I listen to things and I'm like, well, I don't know if this is true or not. But then someone is saying something that I agree with. We all get this like, oh, this person's cool. This person's just
of course.
But I don't want to ever really listen to what they have, like their points of view. I want to listen to people who don't have my point of view, who it's with the whole George Floyd thing. Like there are people who like want him in jail, murdered instantly. And then like, I understand that. And I want to listen to them and feel and listen to their emotions, because that's real. When people see that. But part of me is on the other side of the fence, was like, well, that's a person who's been a criminal his whole life, been in and out of jail. He has a daughter at home who he's ignoring to go get high. It's like, and then another part of me is like, I don't care about that piece of garbage at all.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, I don't, I have these two contrasting feelings of like, well, he could one day get his life together and be a father. like he did. Obviously, he doesn't. I don't think he's ever done anything that deserved to die. Maybe robbing that one woman at gunpoint. I think if someone shot him in that instance, be completely justifiable. But like, he wasn't doing anything at that time to constitute being dead or being, knelt on for 8 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking like on both sides, but then there's people who cannot see, who are on the complete George Floyd is a criminal. He got what he deserved. Who cares? It's just another scumbag off the street, to where he's a father figure and his daughter's going to be alone,
But then, of course, there's that argument where his daughter would be better off.
Well, there's a whole bunch of different arguments. There's like, she's going to be she's a millionaire.
Yeah.
So,
I know, I get what you're saying. But another reason why I love Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens, and obviously, I still, because they still, I'm not gonna hate them now. But one of the main reasons why I love Steven Crowder, and I know Steven Crowder, I know there's certain things you don't like about him, but the reason why I love Steven Crowder, Charlie Kirk, all of them, is because all of them are always open to debate. Always. And when Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens and all them, when they go to like speak at universities, they let the people who don't agree with them, they let the liberals cut in front of the line. They're like, no, let them in the front of the line. Let them in the front. Because they don't mind, they don't care. And that's what, and you don't see any liberals doing that at all. There are some liberals who will debate, but they don't have an open mic. They don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I will always side with them, because I saw a thing on
like a freedom of ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And
but
that's
then,
what
you can't say they have freedom of ideas when they're kicking out people who are porn stars.
I know who,
so that's
like, and
weird.
I know, then that's what I don't understand. It's like, so you'll let people who don't agree with you come in, but if it's a porn star, then you just kick them out. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously I wasn't there, and I don't know the exact story, but that's just what I know. Now I don't know. That's why with stuff like that, I mean, I have to kind of take it. And it's just like if a police officer shot a man, it's like, what happened? I wasn't there.
You have to find out all the different facts if you really care about the circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, seeing that, I can't consciously, I cannot, because there are people who are biased. I can't be biased when it comes to that, because if it's wrong, it's wrong. And I learned that in the military. It didn't matter what rank you were. They said our CO, he made that very well known. He said, if he's like, I'm a captain. He said, if I have a bootlace that's out, he said, let me know. He said, you're not getting in trouble. He's like, if I'm wrong, I'm fucking wrong. And I'm like,
I walked up to who was it? The commander of our base, and his pocket was inside out, like his back pocket. So he had something in his back pocket, and he pulled something out of it, and it was just whatever.
It was out.
And our table was like, oh shit, his back pocket's out, and nobody around him is telling him. There's like 10 people around him talking to him, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna let my commander look like a fucking asshole right now.
Yeah.
So I go up to him, I'm like, sir, just so you know, your back pocket's out. And he goes, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. Whatever. And then I get back to the table, and people were, like they're all young kids. I'm like, you talked, I can't believe you. I was like, I didn't correct him. He didn't walk out of his house with his back pocket out and it's like, I saw Marty McFly do this in Back to the Future, so I'm going to start a trend. He didn't do that. It happened on accident. It's not a big deal. I didn't shout him out in front of everybody.
Yeah.
I whispered in his ears like, hey, you got your back pocket out, just so you know. He was, oh, thank you. He didn't go. He didn't act like,
drop down, give me 20.
Yeah, he like, who the fuck are you, or anything like that. But he just said thank you. I'm like,
and that's how it should. Yeah. But yeah, and so, and because I've always tried to do that, tried to be unbiased as I can, especially with Battlefield, man. That's a whole other topic, but because you already know,
conservative, but you should not believe, and you should always question people's motives, always. And it's just like, and that's the thing is like, even listening to Fauci, change his position on things. Yeah, and as a scientist, you can change your position on things. It's like the whole not mask thing. You can say that, but to lie and say we don't need masks because you want to save the masks for the first responders, which is a noble idea, but you can't have that. But then also, as we know more about the virus, you're not promoting like exercise, vitamins. You're not getting into
I don't know. Yeah, and then he's not even telling the ratio of people who are the survivability ratio. He's not even saying anything like that. I'm like, what are you doing?
So it's always negative. It's always negative. It's always negative. And then I'm like,
so you're just a celebrity then? Okay, all right.
Well, I'm just thinking. Well, he's also making money. He's head of organizations that make money off the vaccine, and so I'm just like, oh, okay.
I love when because he was in front of Jim Jordan, at a hearing, where the Congress they meet,
mm-hmm.
and if I'm not mistaken, the argument was Jim Jordan was saying, he said, well, 2 masks better than 1, and Dr. Fauci, he wouldn't answer the question. It was really weird. It was really, really weird. And Jim Jordan, he's like, you've gone on countless talk shows. You're on YouTube. You're this here. You're here, there, and here. You can answer all their questions, but you can't answer my simple question. Do 2 masks work better? Do 3 masks work better? And he really couldn't answer. And I'm like,
you would think yes, because it's a filter. It's a filtering system. More filters equals,
But it was just so funny how Jim Jordan mentioned it. It's so funny because the reason why I'm saying this is because when Jim Jordan mentioned that he's been all over the place, I've seen it. He's been on fucking Dr. Mike, who's a fucking fraud on YouTube. He's been on Dr. Mike. He's been on here. I see all Dr. Fauci talks with like some transgender, freak on fucking YouTube. And I'm like, so you're a fucking celebrity. You're literally just a celebrity. Look, hey, you're making money off it. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well,
when you start lying,
he's going to write a book and all that.
Oh, yeah, and they just make even more money. And I'm like, this old motherfucker, all he's doing is just this. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I guess this. Oh, you want me to say that? Okay, I'll say that. Just like fucking Bill Nye. Yeah, the gender's on a spectrum now. But years ago, you had videos out where you were talking about XY and XX chromosomes. But now it's on a spectrum now. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're getting paid to say, oh, I get it.
Well, I think people are getting like gender and how you feel mixed up with sex. And then the people on the left want gender and sex to be the same thing. Like, you're truly a woman and you're truly a man. And then people from like social structures, because I think you have to have a foundation of truth. Like, this is what we all believe in. Like, you can feel how you feel. There's been men who felt more since like Roman times, walking around, as women. It's been known in England to just men secretly dressing up as women. This actual thing has been going on for a long period of time. This isn't a new thing. It's been just being more, instead of going, weirdo freak, people are getting more accepted of it.
But there's also people who think that they're fat when they're weigh 100 pounds. That's called bulimic. But that's a mental issue. That's a mental issue. But someone who thinks that they're when they're a man, they're a woman. That's not a mental issue. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing. I'm not smart enough.
Thing. It is.
Yeah, I don't. You're not a doctor, so
no, Chase. You don't need to be a psychologist. You don't need to be a doctor in order to understand bullshit when you hear it. Okay? Because if I come to you and I say I'm a woman,
but you can say that about being gay. Do you think there's real gay?
No. Hold on. Because if I tell you that if I say I'm a woman, okay, you're gonna tell me, you're gonna say, hey, oh, you know what? Okay, you can feel whatever you want. But if I come to you and I tell you I feel like I'm super obese, then you're gonna say, hey, you have a problem. You understand what I'm saying? So one's a problem, one's not.
I understand that, but one's how I don't know if you can say that about like 2 different issues. That's like saying alcoholism and cigarettes are the same issue. Like, that's not like 2.
But they're both addicting, though, right?
But yeah, but like it's a different type of addiction. So like, you can say it's obviously it could, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that's what people said about being gay. There's like, you can just pray the gay away or send them to non-gay camps. That's the same thing they said about that. And gay people were not they were persecuted against. They were talked negatively about. If you were people were disowned. So I'm saying, is that the same thing as being transgender? Like, feeling like you're in a different body? Because this has been going on for a long, long time. So either being gay is a mental disorder. All those things are mental disorders. But then because I'm straight and I feel and I like women, does that make me normal? So then if anything else, that how I think is a Is it mental disorder? No, that's not. Just because I think one way doesn't make what I think correct. So like, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, no, but of course, but like I said, there's universal truths as well. That's
Yeah,
what you're not.
but like as a foundation, like men and women, if you were born, but then there's biological deformities and stuff like that. But that's not what I'm saying. So like how you're linking transgenderism, a man feeling like a woman feeling like a man, as the same thing as the bulimics. I don't know if that is a actual connection.
Because it is because because both cases are seeing themselves as they're not. Sexual orientation is not seeing yourself as you're not. That you're just attracted to the same sex. But when you see yourself as something that you're not, like bulimic people, that's a mental disorder. They think that they're fat. They look in the mirror and they say, "I'm fat," and they're clearly not. When you look in the mirror, you think, and especially because
I'd say it's an interesting argument. I don't know if I believe
hold on. Let me finish, because with sexual orientation, you're not hurting yourself, okay? But with bulimia, okay, you're hurting yourself. That's unhealthy. When you with transgenderism, if you go to the extreme of like, oh, I want to start taking, if you're a man, you start taking estrogen, you're ruining the chemical makeup of your brain. Then they even go even more strict to where they're mutilating themselves, to cutting their genitals off, cutting their breasts off. So, you see what I'm saying? So when it comes to sexual orientation, that's different because you're not doing that. You're just attracted to the opposite sex. With bulimia, you see yourself as something that you're not. So that's a mental disorder. That's why I don't understand why, I've had the argument before. If I were to go to a doctor who would agree to chop my genitals off, cut them off, and give me breasts, but oh yeah, that's fine. But if I were to say, hey, I don't feel like I should have a hand, he'd look at me and say, oh no, you have a mental disorder. What? Well, but if I were to go to him and say, I feel like I should be, I feel like I'm fat and I'm making myself throw up, he would look at me and say, no, you have a mental disorder. But if I said I want to chop my genitals off, oh no, that's perfectly fine.
That is an interesting argument to make, and I don't know if I'm even smart enough to say, but that kind of the mental disorder was said about gay people. So that's where I push back.
I understand that. I get what you're saying. But like I said, that's because I don't think being gay is a mental disorder. I don't think that. I don't think it's they're messed up in the head. No. I don't think that.
Because if you told me being straight was wrong or incorrect, I was like, I don't care. I see a girl with a fat ass at the gym or whatever, and I'm just naturally, even if it's not that big, it's just a natural thing. So I'm like, it doesn't matter. And that's where I think, like, because growing up in the 80s and 90s, like being gay was wrong. There was no like, oh yeah, kind of accepting whatever. Like kind of in the 2000s, like during my high school years, it started to be a little bit more acceptable. Just like a tiny bit more. But like growing up, it was wrong. It was, religious reasons. God, you're going to burn in hell and all this other stuff. But now it's becoming more acceptable to where I think it's going to slowly get to that point. But I don't know if transgender people, that I guess could be some that have a mental disorder and some that actually are put together, or they just feel like a woman or feel like a man. And so I think there's a spectrum to it. I think some people, yes. And then now it's become popular. People are getting praise for saying you're a transgender. So now people are saying it just to get attention and likes. There are people like that.
Here's the thing, and
all over the place.
Here's the thing. So let's say like this. We'll take people who are bulimic and people who, let's say, what the problem is when you accept a mental disorder as something normal, it makes it worse. Now let me explain. Bulimia.
I agree with that part. Yeah.
That's not accepted as being normal because you're hurting yourself. Now that, and so I'll go like this. Say like someone who starts to think, oh hey, I'm kind of I feel like I'm a woman. Okay, that's fine. You're not to the point where you're going to cut your balls off. Well, okay, that's fine. But then let's say someone who starts feeling like, hey, I'm really skinny. Okay, but I still look at myself and I still say that I'm fat. If they're starting to think that, okay, you want to cut with bulimic people. No, you're not. And you want to try to nip that in the bud as quickly as you can so they don't hurt themselves. But now we have with transgenderism, what people are doing is people who start, I just, like you said, but if they just feel like a woman, that's fine. But that's not what's happening. Our society is saying, no, you are a woman. Or you feel like a woman, you are a woman. And they're feeding into that. So then they're already confused. So then all these other people are saying, yeah, you are a woman. You are a woman. So then they're already confused. So they go down that line. And there have been multiple cases where people go down that line and they mutilate themselves and they regret it. They regret it. They're like.
But if they're adults, if they're over 18, like the thing with that I have an issue with is like children.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's like, because like you wouldn't, the whole argument is, I have to let my kid be who they want to be. It's like, no, you don't. You don't let your kid run their lives. What are you talking about? You don't let.
Yeah, they're children. They don't have the brain development.
Yeah. And even at 18 years old, you really don't, because your brain doesn't form until you're 25, 26, fully formed. And so, which is very interesting. I don't know how.
I know. When you get into anatomy, you're like,
they can go to war and die. They can't drink, but they can go kill themselves for whatever country. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But we can't drink or smoke till 21. Is smoking 21?
No, yeah, it's smoking as well. Tobacco, but that was recently passed in a few years.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like you can get a credit card and put yourself into debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars into a college, and your brain science, we know your brain's not fully formed yet. So I just don't understand.
I know it's weird. Well, with alcohol, I definitely understand, because alcohol, alcoholism, because that can actually hurt people. When it comes to like college, you're only hurting yourself. When it comes to smoking, you don't get, your brain's not like, your judgment is not clouded when it comes to smoking. So I don't know with smoking. I don't know. I don't know.
But you cannot fully understand the consequences of smoking or drinking or the credit card. The credit card, people have killed themselves being in debt. Yeah. So like you could that's directly linked to that. So like but that's yours. But there has to be a cutoff point. There has to be some thing that's like, okay, now is when you're an adult. This is when you're making decisions. And so if someone wants to chop off all of that stuff, but it is interesting from a doctor's point of view, like you said, I feel like I identify as an amputee or a paraplegic.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump off a building and break my back. You're like,
so these are the slippery slope, like to those things. It's like, well, when does a doctor step in and say, no, you can't do that? So you can make that argument with transgender people. But if someone wants to, personally, I don't care if you want to just be a head. Like if you just want to sit there and be a head, I don't know what doctor. Now the doctor should have an actual moral obligation themselves. Like, no, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't do that.
And that's the whole point is because, like I said, because with bulimic people, they tell them, no, that's wrong. But then there are doctors who say, that's wrong, but if you want to chop your balls off, that's perfectly fine. It's like, it's where you draw the line.
It's the way we treat certain things. It's like with movies. Violence is okay in America. Sex isn't that good. But if you go to England, they don't like violence. They like they don't bat an eye.
All different cultural.
Yeah, it's real interesting.
But I think that was a good little session, and it's good that I'm glad that because I just learned about what happened with Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. I think it was just yesterday they learned about it, so I'm glad that we did it to the podcast today so I could talk about it. Which is and I really want to talk about that because I was real disappointed. I'm like, you guys are missing the point of God, and like I said, God, He wants us to come to Him as we are. Doesn't matter what we do, and they're completely missing that point. So, but anyways.
Well, thanks Ray for talking to me. This has been another episode of the Video Games and Nonsense podcast. I'm Chase Carter. That's
Raymond Woods.
We appreciate you guys for listening, and we'll be back next week.
I remember